Okay. I'm Hilda Palmer. I'm the coordinator at the Greater Manchester Hazards Centre and the acting chair of the National Hazards Campaign, and I run a group called Families Against Corporate Killers for the families of people who have had somebody killed by their employer's gross negligence. And I'm obviously very interested in the Grenfell disaster because we think this is a result of a long process of the deregulation and slashing of the enforcement of health and safety and the undermining of health and safety that has actually led to this terrible event which never should have happened. I think we need to make the Grenfell disaster an enough is enough moment. People are dying at work every day in ones and twos. People are dying at home from illnesses caused by work. People are being injured on an absolutely phenomenal scale. But it's very hidden and private. What happened at Grenfell, which is due to the same deregulatory enforcement slashing, undermining of the concepts that good health and safety and social protection, is a good thing. And that's all being undermined, but Grenfell showed that very clearly, very publicly, in an absolutely horrendous way that can't be ignored. And I think part of getting justice for the people at Grenfell, people who are involved in that, and for everybody, is to actually make this an enough is enough moment where we actually say the whole deregulation and putting business and employers and corporation profits above people's lives and health has gone too far. It must be stopped. It must be reversed. Well, the families have to be supported in every way we possibly can. We have to support them to get proper legal representation and to be key participants in every stage. So they must be properly informed about the progress of the investigation, and we want that investigation to be as thorough and deep and wide as it possibly can be. We've already written to Commander Stuart Cundy saying we would like the Prime Ministers and Ministers responsible for promoting deregulation, for ignoring warnings on fire safety particularly, but by bleating and boasting about cutting health and safety regulations. We want them to be interviewed under caution. We want evidence to be sought. Can they bring the highest possible charges? Corporate manslaughter, gross negligence manslaughter, major health and safety offences against people in the council, people of all the companies involved in the renovation, people who are involved in signing off on it. Absolutely anybody and everybody who was involved in that has to be looked at properly. But we want the responsibility to be pushed as high up as it can. We don't want just people at the bottom, the lower people, to actually end up taking the fall for this, because that won't be justice. But we also want then the public inquiry to be, again, broad and deep and thorough, and we want that's got to examine the whole environment of deregulation and enforcement slashing and how that led to something like this happening, whereby you've got companies actually making flammable crap, I'm not going to give it any grander term than that, to slap on the outside of buildings, and where people are treated absolutely appallingly. We've got to go to the top, and again the residents have got to be absolutely involved in that, and we want lots of interested parties, people like ourselves, the Hazards Campaign, Hazards Magazine, and criminologists like Dave White and Steve Toombs, and people who've been looking at health and safety regulation enforcement for many, many years, to be involved as interested parties. We cannot trust anybody who's involved in this process. They got us into this mess. They're responsible for the killings at Grenfell. We are going to have to be on their backs the whole time and make sure that those who are culpable are identified and that then they're held accountable and that we get as much justice as we possibly can. And obviously we've got to sort out fire safety, review the building regulations using the experience of all the fire safety reps and the FBU like Matt Rack, people who know what the problems are. But solving fire safety without actually changing the whole system of health and safety regulation I don't think will be enough. And really it's about saying what sort of world do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a world where people at work, particularly those lower down the scale, the lower your wages, the more at risk you are of dying, being injured or made ill, and those are the same people who are living in poor social housing or very poor exorbitantly priced private rented accommodation. It's the same people, we're talking about the same people. We don't want a world where those people's health and lives matters less than corporate profits.